Hey you guys, it's been a long time since I've done a video on certain things, but anyway, I thought I'd show you what I've been up to. So I bought a PSP in 2018. Now this PSP is a bit smudgy at the moment. There was a few things wrong with it actually. The memory card slot reader wasn't actually working to begin with, but I sorted that out, and also you'll notice that the back looks a little different. That's because I've had to replace this panel here, as the UMD door was actually broken off. Other than that, the analog nub wasn't working correctly, and I've fixed that too. And now what we have is a fully functioning, fully working PSP 2000, if it boots, from 2004, I believe. This is the unhackable, is it TA338 or TA88V3, I think, 088V3, something like that. It's a specific motherboard that is actually unhackable, but you can still run, of course, dodgy firmware on here, which is what I've been doing. Now the PSP 2000 boasts a 272 by, I think, 480 resolution. It boasts a brighter screen than the 1000, and it actually looks really quite crisp and colourful compared to the 1000 screen as well. Obviously this is the slim version, so everything has been refined, and by refined I mean made cheaper. There's no longer a button on the top here to eject your UMD door. You simply just slide your finger in here and open her up like so. And also there is no other kind of robust feeling plastic. It's all that shiny glossy black finish, which is prone to fingerprints. Now I checked out the memory card reader here, and this actually came with an 8GB stick, and for me it wasn't working. I pulled it out and I thought, hey, what's wrong with this 8GB stick? So I pulled it out and I was playing around with this 8GB stick for a bit, and it turns out that it's actually the stick that was wrong. It had broken into pieces inside of here, but now the 8GB stick works. But I've actually got a adapter here, which cost me, I think, $3.99 from Amazon, if you guys can see that, if it's going to focus for you. There you go. Yeah, and I actually put a 32GB stick in here and plugged it back into the slot, and it worked straight away. So I knew it was the stick and wasn't actually the reader, which would have been a pain. Now this cost me £19.28, or maybe a little more, maybe around the £20 mark for this. Obviously it had a few faults, and because of that I got it a bit cheaper. To buy these on eBay in good condition, you're looking at £30 plus. Some people pay even more than that, depending. Now with this stick, obviously you can get some of the games that are already signed, which means you can play them without firmware, like emulators. And I actually sold my GCW Zero to get this, because this actually plays more games than the Zero does, retro-wise, and it has the same screen resolution, which means they look really good. 661 though, even if you update to the latest firmware, you can still run this fast recovery. You have to install a custom firmware. This board specifically needs fast recovery. Other boards potentially don't. It's just a luck of the draw with what board you get, but this one did need fast recovery. But once you've done the fast recovery, which only takes a few seconds, then you can whack on whatever games you like. And as you can see, I've whacked on a plethora of games, from Manhunt 2 to Ratchet & Clank to Patapon, Driver 76, Loco Roco, 50 Cent, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, Them Were the Days, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories, Daxter, Harry Potter, which by the way is awesome on PSP. So most of this stuff I generally downloaded for this device, which is kind of not legal. It's a bit of a grey area when you download this stuff, but obviously some of these games are really hard to come by nowadays, and some of them aren't. The UMD drive in this still works too, so I'm going to get some games from CEX and some movies from CEX to play on this as well. But in its current state, it is working and it's nice. Now the PSP obviously had its server shut down a few years ago now, so when you access the store, there is nothing there, but I believe you can get around this. You can get around this by, or at least you can get around online gaming by installing the Pro C, I think it's like custom servers. It's another mod to do with the custom firmware that gives you access to servers that are available for games, obviously, that have had the servers shut down. But currently this is what you get when you access the PSN store, and when you access any online game, they all say unable to find a game unable to find a session, and you can't create one either. It just times out. You can still download your old PSP games if you've bought them before via this, so that's fine, and you can still download videos too. I'm trying to get this in shot a bit more. The other cool thing that I like about the PSP, which obviously the Vita doesn't have, is if you go down to, where is it? I think it's in here. You have this internet radio section here, which when I had a PSP back in the day, I used to play like on the radio, and it's all vintage style radio. It's really cool. But you can also get stuff like Shoutcast, Hip Me, Hop You, which is hip hop, jazz, and a couple of other internet radio players that are freely available on Sony's website, and you just download them and whack them on the memory stick. Beyond that, you can get some videos for the PSP, but I've had a hard time converting videos for this at the moment, and as a result, I have none on there. But I do have a couple of movies upstairs, Batman and Herbie. Obviously, you can play your MP3s on this if you wanted to, and you can see with the amount of games I got on there, I still got a respectable 2 gigs of space. If I wanted, I could whack some movies on there. And there is a camera for this device too, if you want to take pictures. I currently don't have it, but I will be getting one to show you guys what it does. So yeah, as far as everything else goes, I mean, I got it working, and I'm super pleased that I've got this over the Zero, because the Zero has just lost all of its functionality with regards to HDMI out. This does have TV out, and I do have a cable upstairs, which I am waiting to try. Perhaps I'll try this with you guys taking a look at that. But this also does exactly the same thing as the Zero, and it's currently cheaper than the Zero. So I got 50 quid for my Zero, which after your PayPal and stuff works out about 30 quid after your fees. And then I bought this for 20 quid plus the back from China for £2.50 and a memory card, which was 4 quid. So I essentially probably got a PSP for the price I sold the Zero. And in my opinion, it was well worth it, because there are way more games you can play on the PSP. From Sid Meier's Pirates to Grand Theft Auto, as you've seen earlier, you know, to cool games like Manhunt 2, which was never really released in the UK as it was banned. But then there's like games that I used to play, like Pinball Classics, which is totally awesome, and Loco Roco, which is great, nice little chilled experience. Games like that, you know, you can't find on the Zero. Even The Simpsons had their game on here, and Jack and Daxter, of course. But games like that you can't find on the Zero, and as a result, I thought it would be better to pick one of these up, especially whilst it was so cheap. So, is it worth picking one of these up in 2018? Yes, definitely. There's a couple of reasons why. Online is still a viable solution, and we'll delve into that in a future video. The game library for this is absolutely amazing, and some of the later games released look gorgeous. Not only that, the screen is great for viewing movies, and way better than the Zero for viewing movies. It can play MP3s, it can take pictures with a camera, and of course it can output to your TV, which the GCW Zero sadly couldn't do. So yeah, there's plenty of reasons to buy a PSP in 2018, even if you just want to hack it like I have. Whack a bigger memory card in there and put a load of games on, which is what I've done. And I will play through some of these games myself, because I've actually been playing through Metal Gear Solid, which I never played the first time around. The only game I really finished on the PSP the first time around was Daxter, and that game is still super awesome and gorgeous looking on the screen. So if you like this video, guys, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. And let me know what you thought, or what you think of getting a PSP in 2018. Do you think it's worth getting one of these in 2018? Because as far as I'm aware, on eBay, they are just upping in price, especially the 3000 models. You know, you're paying £50, £60 for a 3000 model. The price is just going up with these. They're getting harder to come by. Batteries are harder to come by. But it's definitely worth getting, as it's totally awesome. I shall see you soon, guys. Cheers.